Mississippi River is one of the most famous icons in the world. People all over the world of all cultures know the Mississippi River. And when they come to Memphis or when they come to this part of the world and they find out that, hey, the Mississippi River is just right down the road here, their first impulse is, I got to see it. The challenge is that once you see it, then what do you do? How do you participate with it? How do you get engaged with it? How do you really experience it other than just looking at it? This corridor is trying to change that perception and trying to make it so that people can get out and experience it. The mission of the corridor, the Mississippi River corridor of Tennessee, is to take all the various assets that exist along the Mississippi River in the state of Tennessee, starting with, say, T.O. Fuller State Park, going all the way up to the Kentucky border with Reelfoot Lake, and trying to tie all those assets together and to really make a destination out of it. We want people to feel like that when they go into the corridor, it's like going into a national park or a state park, that it's inviting, that you're welcome, and please participate, please enjoy, and that's what we're headed toward. I mean, that's what we're trying to get to. I mean, you have a metropolitan area of over 1 million people. Many of people are looking for things to do. They want to go out, they want to explore, they want to see the countryside and the whole bit. And yet this is an area that has never been promoted, it's never been marketed. There's really not good access into it. And so what we're doing in this trip is opening the eyes of people and letting them experience this and letting them know that it's there.
What we're trying to do is to identify and interpret and conserve our natural and historic assets in the corridor. But in order to do that, we actually divide the project up into 7 categories of interest, which is economic development's number 1, transportation, conservation of natural assets, historical and cultural amenities, health and wellness, and recreation. And amazingly so, all of these categories of focus, they all are intertwined. And so we found that the bottom line to this project is to improve the quality of life for our citizens and the prosperity of our citizens.
I think what's really interesting, especially for the folks that are out of Memphis, is the ability to go north into the corridor within, let's say 50 minutes from your doorstep in Midtown, and you can be at Randolph Bluff in Tipton County, seemingly a world away. You can be an hour and a half, you can be up in Lower Hatchie, wildlife, the refuge, the federal refuge up there, which is very close to Fort Pillow, and even more remote.
The purpose of the Whistle Stop Tour was to allow people to become more familiar with the corridor. The corridor is 170 miles long, roughly. And to really do it justice, to really get out and become familiar with it would take 3 or 4 days easily. The Whistle Stop Tour was sort of an executive summary. We started in Memphis, of course, down on the river in Mud Island, and we went north. And the first part of the tour, we went through the northern portion of Shelby County into Shelby Forest State Park. And then we went into Tipton County, where we went to what is known as Chickasaw Bluff number 2. And this particular point allows you complete unobstructed view north, looking upriver for as far as you can possibly see. And it's a fantastic view of the Mississippi River. We left Tipton County, and then we got back on Highway 51, and we went north. We went through Covington, and then we went through Ripley. We went through Dyer County to come back the next day, but then we went into Obion County. We stopped at Dixie Gun Works, which is a true asset along the way. and been there for many, many years, and most people in the Memphis area are not even familiar with this facility. We also got a presentation of the Discovery America new development that's taking place in Union City, which is a $100 million museum that is being constructed, which is going to be a major draw for Northwest Tennessee. Then we went over to Reelfoot Lake, spent the night on the lake.
Certainly one of the highlights, and everyone on the trip confirmed this. We told everybody that we were going to get up at sunrise and go canoe Reelfoot Lake. So we all got in the canoes and went out, and it was just surreal. And we get maybe halfway into the lake and such, and all of a sudden we look up and there are hundreds of these huge white pelicans that had just flown in from Canada. And they were, just a line of them. It was just like, all's right with the world. It was just amazing.
Last thing we did, actually, it was probably, it might have been the highlight of the trip for me, because the people didn't know where they were going. I knew where they were going. I knew what they were going to get ready to see, but they didn't know. As we progressed, all of a sudden, boom, there it was, the Mississippi River. And we were standing about 200 feet above the river on this high bluff, and it was almost like going back into primeval days. I had one professor actually who was on the trip who came up to me and said, "This is probably the greatest or the best view of the river I have ever seen." That was, I think, maybe the highlight of the trip, simply because this was the end, but this was the grand picture of what it's all about.
We cover 6 counties in the corridor, and it's like having 6 different children. Every single county is different in geography, in culture, and in population. It's all about the people. We have wonderful geographical assets and resources and such, but nothing to compare with the people. And that's what I treasure the most, are all the people that we've met. It's also an opportunity to get to know other people that are like-minded in pursuing cultural or natural resources, hiking, biking, birding, going to museums. And there are a lot of people out there that really enjoy doing those kinds of things. They just don't know where to go. They don't know how to access these resources. And so that's what the tours are all about.
Well, one thing we want people to do is to try to feel a part of the organization and the work we do. To do anything from future tours, to get involved with other projects in the corridor, to be involved in your own personal county if it's one of these 6 counties we work in.
Let's help this area by stimulating the economy, by bringing in tourists, by attracting people into the area, improving the quality of life. I mean, all of these things add up together to make the place better. This asset is creating jobs and making our economy stable. Then that's what's going to protect it.